The nature of global supply chains is so complicated and multifaceted that it's not easy to get a fix on just how fractured they've been by the COVID-19 pandemic. In today's video, we'll discuss how supply chain crisis can affect global markets. But before that, make sure you press that red subscribe button along with that tiny bell icon to get updated every time we post new videos. Let's get started. We can see the end result, the lines of container vessels at harbors, the empty shelves at supermarkets and other retailers, the rising cost of goods, the extended waiting times for deliveries, but it's tricky, if not unsolvable, to bring together all the intricate strands that connect producers to consumers in a globalized trade atmosphere. Last week, the New York Federal Reserve made a stab at doing just that, launching what it calls the Global Supply Chain Pressure Index. The indicator is predicated on 27 variables like shipping rates and air freight costs between the United States, Asia, and Europe. Researchers saw enormous growth in shipping costs since the start of the recovery from the lows at the beginning of the pandemic, but that growth has started to decelerate in recent months. The researchers also observed that container shipping rates rose more significantly during the most recent economic recovery than after the global financial crisis. But the costs of shipping raw materials like coal and steel rose on par with the post-GFC recovery they had. Researchers said they adjusted for shifts in demand, but noted that the index is not a perfect measure and likely still reflects some demand factors. The index, drawing on data going back to 1997, shows global supply chain pressures are mainly advanced now than in preceding times of stress. For example, pressures rose in 2011 after two natural disasters, including an earthquake in Japan and flooding in Thailand. The index boomed again during the US-China trade war in 2017 and 2018, but those spikes dull in comparison to what has been observed since the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers concluded. A separate report out Tuesday suggested that supply constraints are starting to ease as delivery times refine. The Institute for Supply Management survey also found that prices paid by manufacturers fell last month by the most in a decade. But it didn't completely capture the effects of the Omicron COVID-19 variant, which could make some workers to stay at home and reverse some of the advancement in supply chains. Fed officers are closely watching supply chain disturbances as they construct a plan for withdrawing financial support offered during the pandemic. It's questionable still that the index will fall back from its peak of 4 standard diversions from its long-term average to pre-pandemic morals. There are supply chain experts who believe that a new and performing normal for global supply chains will be achieved within the coming 2 years. Whenever that new normal is achieved, and whatever it looks like, it appears certain it'll look and operate otherwise and bring cost than the one the pandemic has displaced. Supply chain distresses, which have hindered economic recovery from the global health crisis and driven prices to the stratosphere amid a demand boom, appear to be on the wane. So that's all for today's video. Let us know your views in the comments section below. And don't forget to like this video before leaving. Thanks for watching.